go live then.
Please do.
And you'll be right back. Good. Fine. Lovely.
I've forgotten I needed an extra glass.
When
There we go.
So when I take my glasses on or off and put these silly ones on, it looks a little. It's a bit Elton John, but I can't see or read anything. So for the purposes,
I'm thinking when you do that with the hat that you have atop your head, with the beard, you immediately brought someone to mind.
Oh.
It is a Soundgarden video, Black Hole Sun, and there is a crazy bearded guy with I think a bowler hat on and weird glasses. Could be you, mate, to be honest. If you'd like to check that out afterwards.
I can multitask. I'll do that at the same time. No, that'll be my project for overtime. If you can tell that I'm looking up the video for Black Hole Sun, in fact, I'll put it on my phone. That's the email telling me that we've gone live.
Before we came on, please don't be doing that while we do. Carry on.
In my eyes, indisposed, in disguise as no one knows.
That's going to go on as your little clip at the end of your 1 minute version, I'm sure of it.
I'm glad someone notices these, damn it. Anyway, I think I'm hilarious with the editing, by the way. Yeah, I may be bad at sound, but editing out the funny bits, I've always been able to do that really, really well.
Yeah. Well, there aren't many of them, so...
No, but you got to search through an hour and 15 minutes just to find it. Speaking of an hour and 15 minutes, I am Ross. I am joined by my co-host Ian, and together, a couple of days late, but the most Irish we could possibly conjure amongst ourselves, we are attempting to drink Nova Scotia Dry. It is 2 days past St. Patrick's Day. Did you do anything?
I planned to. That's the most important thing. No, I planned. Millsner Sports and Social were doing a band that night, and I was going. It was Jason Tybert's old band, Sky 45. They've rebranded since they kind of folded up.
Sky 46.
Reclaimed Youth. That would be good. Sky 46 is now called Reclaimed Youth, and I thought I'm going to go and check that out. I know a couple of the band members in there. I thought, and we were going to go down there, play some pool, and listen to some music. And then I guess I'm getting old, mate. The closer I got to it, I thought, oh dear, I don't really feel like it. So we hunkered down on sofa, and we put on an English drama. If you haven't checked it out, I'm sure you must have heard of it by now. It's on everyone's Adolescence. We watched that. We binge watched 4 episodes of that. It is quite remarkable.
I have not.
You have a Gen A, don't you? Is Jo a Gen A? Is she Gen A?
Oh,
I'm not really sure how.
I haven't asked. She's 16.
I think she does. Anyway, this is
she's 16 going on 17, so technically she's a Generation HMS Pinafore, I think. No, wait.
That's deep. That's too deep for me. You should check this out. First off, do a little bit of research and see if it's going to appeal to you. It is astonishing. It's pretty much the best thing I've seen for a long time. Honestly, it's I can't say highly enough about it. It's gut-wrenching drama, but the cinematography and the acting is out of this world. It's astonishing. Check it out. And that's what I did. We sat there and we binged watched. Instead of going out in the end, we kind of did this, and we were glad of it. We had a little drink, and we watched that instead. But it was fine. Still Paddy's Day. We still listened to a bit of Irish music, and it was great.
I thought about the fact that Monday night, since it was a Monday, St. Paddy's Day was Monday, that open mic at Paddy's was there. And since my daughter, I usually have my daughter, she's got things, and I drive her around to places, but since she's away out of the country doing training, sports training, that I thought, hey, maybe this is one of those times that I go to open mic night at Paddy's Pub. And I didn't even get out the door. I felt exhausted just by the even conceptual thought of going to that on St. Patrick's Day. We've been over this. I am not a St. Patty's reveler or celebrationist, hence trying to bring back the blue beer. But for the purposes of absolutely pandering to our audience of 1.5 or more, green beer night. And unfortunately, you can't dye the dark beers green. I mean, we'll give it a go, but it's usually the lighter ones.
Did you drink stout on Paddy's? Because of course I did. I had to have some of my home brew stout, so I felt very. I'm not. I mean, I'm half Irish anyway because my mum's Irish, so I'm half Irish.
Oh,
anyway.
I didn't know that. Oh, good for you. Good for you. No, I am fully Scottish, so no, I didn't have a thing. I didn't have a thing to drink on Paddy's Day.
Good for you. Well, then you can make up for that right now.
That is the hope. So, Pilsners, because A, we had a bunch of Pilsners in the closet. B, they're nice and clear and light in color, so they will come out green if we do our dyeing correctly. And we've been avoiding them because I think we don't like Pilsners. I've done the quick variant lookup of Pilsner in general, and it does say, "'Tis a hoppy lager." And I think, ugh.
Isn't it funny how right up to fairly recently, the word just 3 letters of IPA had us thinking, okay, we don't like this, but we're going to do it anyway, and because whatever. And then slowly, of course, we now like those things, and now we're like, oh, we got to do Pilsners. Well, we don't really like those, do we? But we're going to have to do them anyway to get through them. The thing is, we've had this one since Moses' time. I'm pretty sure of it.
They have been waiting for us to drink them because I never get excited. Oh boy, it's Pilsner night. It's not an exciting genre.
No, it's really not. It's at least IPAs, even though we really didn't like them, at least they did have some character. You know what I mean? They had something about them, and people were like, oh God, these are really hoppy and crazy and blah blah. But Pilsners are they're like, nah, they're like 4 or 5 out of 10s all the time, and they're a bit just.
It's like going to a five-star restaurant and them announcing that night that they're having a mashed potatoes competition.
Mashed potatoes and carrots.
Okay, but
it's going to be. They're all going to be a bit, unless there's something extraordinary about them. I just got a feeling they're all going to just be a bit. Yeah, it just tastes like a kind of lagery beer, and I can't get too excited. But clearly, I've been surprised in the past. And is this not from Two Crows? Is Sal from Two Crows? I can't even see. Yes, it is. Two Crows, of course, without getting too deep into it, they weren't knocking my socks off for a couple of years when they started, but now they are. So it might be that this one is one of those ones that when I do go, wow, there's another winner from Two Crows. I'm so excited about that one.
Oh, that's neat. And there's a few things. Yeah, there's a number of things going on there. There's a lot to speak of most of these ones, but unfortunately, there's nothing to say of the first ones. I've decided to go, since they're all in the 5%-ish range, we're going to go can size up. So we'll get the 2 small cans out of the way. We'll start with the Hilltop hops out of, I always get this one wrong, Brooklyn, Hants County. Yeah, I was right. There in Brooklyn, Hants County, Nova Scotia, is Willie's Wicked Pilsner, 5%. Doesn't say what kind of Pilsner it is, but the only thing that I could find, there's nothing on Hilltop's hops, but there is something on Untapped, and it basically just says this is a crisp. Wait.
This is a crisp.
Yeah, it's just, this is a basic, because that's just it. And it is just a basic crisp type Pilsner. It's yeah, okay, it's making a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, me too.
But that's fine. I managed to keep it from getting thoroughly out of hand, but we'll have to.
Didn't do what the Great Roads one did last week, of course, which completely. It's doing something similar though. It's pretty close. It
is pretty full. I do believe they pack their cans rather full there as well. Smells perfectly fine, so it has definitely not gone off, which is delightful.
Oh.
I'm getting quite an aroma from a distance here. Lovely. All right.
From a distance, my beer smells aromatic. Why is the can not pouring properly? I've poured cans of beer for many a time, Ross, and this one I'm missing my glass completely. I've got it now. I've got it.
not to
I've got the same.
complain too much about the concept of aluminum cans in general, but I found they're kind of hit and miss in general. You know,
In the pouring.
you
In the
just
pouring.
pour it because there's no spout. It's just an edge. It's just a lip. So
Yeah.
that it basically smells like that smells like a tasty lager. I'm looking forward to this. Don't forget. Sir.
Oh, was I supposed to do that before I poured it?
Well, what I do is I
I
pour a bit, about halfway, and then I drip it, and then you pour the
Right.
rest, and that way it kind of goes through what's there in the foam in the head.
I see. I've got some left in the can, so I can make them. I can sloosh it around. How many drippages did you put in yours? How many am I supposed to do?
I put in 4 because I
Four,
like
okay.
a bright, that's a nice uh, Granny Smith apple kind of green. That's an apple teeny green. I feel. Oh,
I
that
feel
is.
like I'm topping off one of my new espressos. We bought an espresso machine. I don't know
I
if I
don't think
mentioned
that's
that to
working
you.
properly either.
Yeah, and it has this kind of creamy thing going on top, and so a little bit of artwork is look at that. Isn't that wonderful looking? Very. Yeah. Anyway, uh, yeah. So I've started doing all that good espresso stuff with coffee and trying to make it look sexy and beautiful and all that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And here's me. And here's the.
Can I
Look at
tell?
that.
Can I tell you? Here's what I did most of last week. After our last. Oh, and yeah, officially on air. I have to apologize for last week's broadcast, especially to the guys, Mike, and Matt of Afternoon Pint, for how poorly that was done. I couldn't even share a beer with the guy who is about sharing a beer with someone. So I felt terrible, but I did drink the beers afterwards, and again,
Circumstances. You've explained it to me. Circumstances were unfair against you, and
eh,
the timing
the deck
so
was
bad.
stacked, but I just
So
failed
sad.
completely. I'm glad I wasn't too impressed with the smash, the smash blonde. Tasted more like a single malt, single hop IPA than it did like a blonde ale. But of course, serial killer in Malternate reality. I really hope the Malternate is not going away anytime soon.
E2. What's the bashoom bashoom? You were intimating that maybe that one, or someone has suggested that maybe it will be
That's yeah.
superseding.
It was just
Yeah.
the rumor that
Check.
I was told by the person at the front counter.
I've never done this before last year when you said, "Oh, you're going to have some green beer with me." I mean, there's me. Just said I'm half Irish. I mean, my mum was born in Belfast, lived for 18 years there. My sister's still living there now. But I was not aware
But
of green.
we looked this up. This seems to have been something that was established in North America, I think.
North America?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it
so.
doesn't surprise me.
Regardless, this doesn't say anything other than the fact that it's a Pilsner, so it's slightly lager or hoppy lager. Cheers.
Cheers. Slam.
Sluncha. You know?
It's a cold, refreshing lagery Pilsner.
It,
It's not. To me, it's not. There's no real. Nothing standing out at me that I'm hanging my description on. I'm not getting a flavour of anything in particular, apart from slightly lemony.
okay.
A little lemony.
I feel like there's a little bit of a zip, there's some kind of bitter or hop profile in there, but I'm also getting a tiny, tiny little sense of a malt, which does stand for. It's close to what I'm looking up here on. Oh darn! I've done the wrong thing. Oh, I did find Italian style Pilsner. Okay, so in the Canadian Beer Awards, Canadian Brewing Awards, there are 3 Pilsner categories: Italian Pilsner, German Pilsner, and Bohemian Pilsner. I think they're all kind of the same. Slightly sweet and toasted, biscuity, bready malt aroma and flavor is present. So they're looking for a bit more biscuity, bready. So I think slightly malty, basically, the thing that I think is the nicest way of putting it is this tastes like a rather nice Toller Gold to me.
I've got a hint of citrus though. That's interesting.
Hmm.
When I
Am I not
hopefully my green food color wasn't tainted with something before. Maybe it was dipped in something, but I've just got a slight lemony, citrusy thing. I don't know what that. That's not. By the way, it's not. It's not unpleasant. It's quite refreshing. I'm drawn. Yeah, of course, it's a tiny little hoppiness to it, but also it's a bit like a Mexican lager to me as well, which again isn't the worst thing.
Oh, oops.
Doesn't look
It's pushing the green green dye downwards in mine, unfortunately.
It's very refreshing.
Right.
It's not walloping me with some, like I say, with something really tasty, but it's perfectly pleasant to my palate. It's a Pilsner at the end of the day.
If the Hilltop Hops website can be trusted or thought of as up to date, it is no longer available currently. Oh, they've got a Cashmere Pilsner, so they do have a Pilsner apparently currently on tap as a seasonal. So hopefully it's similar to this, because this is quite tasty, and I do like the establishment. Have you been in at the old Brooklyn Hants County at the Hilltop Hops? It's right there on the corner.
No, is my one word answer to that. I don't recall going in there. Not by your description. I might have passed it a number of times, and if that is the case, shame on me for not going in. It's only up the road, isn't it? If it's only up there, then it's sort of 40 minutes away, 50 minutes away. Maybe I should take a.
You did go to Meander River, so I honestly think that you would have passed it on your way to Meander River.
Yeah, the thing with that was I was making a deliberate attempt to make it to Meander River. I wasn't just passing it on my way through. We said, let's go there. So maybe I should be saying, let's go to Hilltop. This is perfectly pleasant, Ross, without being spectacular. It's not knocking my socks off, but it's.
I agree, but I was worried that what a Pilsner is supposed to taste like. But if I keep reading what's going on in the Canadian Beer Awards, I think these are supposed to be a bit more malty. Like we've had some Pilsners in the past, and they have been it's just the hop bitterness. It doesn't smooth out. It doesn't equal a balance. But this is delightfully balanced. So I think I think the main problem is that it is a boring category, and this is a really good boring beer. That's what I'm saying.
It's nice. What I will say is I'm smashing it down. It's not difficult to drink, that's for sure. It's very refreshing. I think I started off this evening by saying I got quite hot. I don't know whether that was beforehand or whatever, but I slammed down a big bowl of hot stew, almost Irish stew, before starting this, and I was slightly sweaty. This has cooled my
good.
That's maybe not the word I'm looking for, but anyway, it's cooled me down. It's very refreshing, and
taking it.
I like it without like I say, without me saying, oh, this is wonderful. It's perfectly fine.
Now we're going through a few of these if we didn't mention, because that one was a 355 milliliter can, Hilltop, and also our next one, Horton Ridge. They do the 355, and they're all roughly 5%. The Hilltop one, 5%. Our next one here. So from Horton Ridge, from the malt house, we've got Tastes Like Home Pilsner, 5%. But let me show you something really interesting on the can. Again, a 355 milliliter can, but on the side, you see that word there?
Lager.
It's Lager. Lager. And there's no description, once again, on the can. And again, I don't remember when we got this. And I did try to do a search for it. And if you do a search for Tastes Like Home Pilsner and Horton Ridge, you get nothing. So this beer does not exist. I almost want to save the can. So if we do eventually get to talk to
Mr. Ridge.
Mr. Ridge himself, who is interested in coming on the show, but just Wednesday nights are bad. And that was nuts and things. What?
Nuts and things. Where did you go with that one? I'm not quite sure. You would. Were you just thinking of something while you were talking? Because you're.
I was. I'm trying to look up the email because that I'm going back and forth with the brewer, so I can remember if I get his name right. And again,
you're not still trying to look up Black Hole Sun as well at the same time.
I am. No, I'm trying very hard not to look up that either.
Right. So this Pilsner that we're both holding,
whatever,
is in some kind of twilight zone. It doesn't actually exist, and it's in a lager can, and there's no information about it whatsoever.
Correct.
Did you get this from Temu?
I got it from the Netherverse. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I feel, I don't do that water between beers so much any day these days, but I feel that I should this time because I've got a feeling. I don't know why, but I've got a feeling these might be a little similar. So if I completely clean my palate, put away.
I agree.
Lemon food color. I don't know what was going on. I think there was possibly something at the end on the tip which gave it a citrusiness. I'm going to clean my tip. So give me a second here. Chat away.
So you're saying a lot of words that are not making a whole lot of sense to me. Steven, there, yeah. So it's Steve, and I believe it's who is it around at Hilltop? See, this is what I need to get right. Oh, John. It's John at Hilltop, and it's Steve at Horton Ridge.
Cool.
Both of which I am in the processes of negotiation of hoping to get people on once I prove to them that we can have decent sound. I don't have to remember everyone's name right away, but whatever. That's for another time. Yeah,
I'm ready with my green again.
Nothing on the can whatsoever. It's a lovely purple, though. I do like the lavender couleur of the can here.
Lovely.
How fares your Horton Ridge green? Look at that. That is some green apple candy right there.
You're showing off. You've put it in the appropriate glass. I am so annoyed. Do you know what happened to me last week? I broke the Annapolis glass, the Annapolis Brewing glass that you so generously gave to me.
Well, yes. Didn't we get those? I think we got those because they were a part of a compilation of the LC. We didn't actually get those on premises. Would you like one from North Brewing? I accidentally have 2 North Brewing glasses.
To replace my Annapolis Brewing glass.
Would you like it?
How can you? Listen, mate. Listen. I wouldn't turn down a free gift from a friend. That's for sure. If it's surplus to requirements, Ross, then of course I will take it off you.
Lovely.
And by the way, North Brewing is becoming one of my absolute faves. In Nova Scotia, they do some weird and wacky, zany, and their can art is stupendous, and their beers ain't too shabby. Thank you very much.
I need to reach out and try to be nice and talk to them at some point soon as well, because we really get into that. Anyway, so again, a Pilsner. Not sure if it's Bohemian or if it's Italian.
Not much information at all.
Smells a little bit more lagery than the Hilltop one, I gotta say. I don't think this one's gonna be quite as malty. How's your green? I am hiccuping like mad over here. No explanation. There's science. Lots of science going on.
Oh, talking of, I'm so looking forward to 2 weeks' time. That's going to be lots of fun.
2 weeks' time.
With my pal Ross at the Science of...
Yes, April the 5th. I'm still trying to see if there's some more of our squad, our guests out here in the valley that might join. But the 2 of us, we do have our confirmed tickets. So to beer science, to science and green.
This has
Slanchies
actually got
again.
Slanger. This has actually got less of a nose than the other one did. This is from the glass. Interesting. But way more malty.
Well, it is the malt house.
Of course, considerably more malty. Yes, the truth. Yeah,
Really?
I guess the truth. Yeah.
I feel like that one's got the little tiny etch of bitter, but it's got quite the
malty backbone.
I'm not getting a malty backbone out of this. No.
Are you not? Oh my goodness. Is there something? Is there something broken with my taste buds again? Then, because I had a little bit of citrus going on the one at first, and this one, it's a far to me. It's a far fuller bodied beer than the last one, which was way more of a lager. This is far maltier to me.
Neither of them have been extremely light bodied, where you just sort of feel like you're drinking. Oh, that's just tap water kind of thing. There is a weight in there. There is a body to it, and I am quite impressed, I have to say, by these two initially. I mean, I didn't think, and again, it always goes whenever I'm looking forward to a night. Oh, good, we've got honey brown ales, and then I think, but then Pilsner night, not looking forward to that, and delicious. This is just going. This is aces.
It's sweeter. It's a little bit sweeter than the last.
Yep.
Which I found quite a dry, lagery, not particularly exciting. This has got in fact, it's lingering as well at the back. But it's also, I have to say it, there's also a bit of sour there as well.
I think that's the bitter that's coming through. I think that's sort of the hop profile that's squeezing in there, and I'm getting something that I can only describe as like the graininess, like chewing on straw. Not a biscuity, not a doughy kind of grain, but like the actual chewing on the wheat chaffs themselves straight out of the field kind of flavor. So
yeah.
I feel like this one is more of the German or Italian style, if the Hilltop Hops one seems more like the Bohemian style, based solely on the Canadian Brewing Awards 2025 and their judging criteria.
I was going to say, I wouldn't say, because what was the last one you said? It was described as being crisp. I wouldn't consider this crisp.
Oh,
the previous one, I would. It was very refreshing, quite crisp and clear. And this one has got, there's more going on in it. Crisp, I wouldn't describe this as crisp. So I don't know whether or not, does it distinguish between a German and an Italian Pilsner?
Not very obviously. Malty sweet aroma should be present at low levels. Light biscuity attributes. Hop aroma and flavor is pronounced and aromatic. They sound exactly the same, derived from late hopping, not dry hopping. Dry hopping is the Italian style. Floral, herbal, or peppery. Perceived bitterness, medium to high. German, medium to high, but the Bohemian one, bitterness is more of the medium style of things. Okay, so I guess it all comes down to what method-ish these are. And we could get, can you imagine how fancy we are? Someone says, try this Pilsner. Well, this tastes more like an Italian Pilsner than a Bohemian Pilsner. And as you can tell, it's been obviously dry hopped after the fact. And I can tell because
that's what a prodrome would be able to do.
Yep.
Whereas you and me, we just take a sip and go, I like it, or I'm not too keen on it. And
tastes okay, it's not so bad. I'll have it. What was, yes. Next.
We're moving on.
Well, they're only 3:55. We gotta get going. It's only an hour-long show.
Did you hammer that back, Ross? Did you hammer that back already?
Just a bit.
Oh, you still got. Oh, you know what? I did not leave a little bit of my first one.
Oh
What's the
no!
name?
It's like your first week here or something.
I know this would have been the ideal opportunity to do that, but I didn't. So never mind.
Well, I'm trying to just in case. I really do need to tell what's going on. So we're moving into the big cans, but luckily the first of the big cans from Lunn's Mill out of Lawrencetown, Nova Scotia, I believe, and it is coming in at a 4.5%. This is only a 4.5% in the tall can, the 473, and I saw the word Pilsner and I said, fine, we'll add that into the Pilsner. But then after the fact and on the website, I saw the name of the beer. Have you seen this? Lunn's Mill's Pilsner is called Lunn's Millsner.
Yeah, it's clever, isn't it?
Grown.
I think it's genius. Absolute genius.
Grown.
Marketing gold.
Old style Pilsner. It says, what's older, Bohemia, Germany, or Italy? I'd say Bohemia. It's probably the oldest of styles. Yeah.
I get a real feeling of when I look at this Pilsner. I've alluded to when we've had Pilsners before, something that Rebecca used to drink in Alberta called Pilsner. That was the name of the beer.
We've had this.
I've alluded to. Right. Now, look at the can and tell me that they haven't drawn inspiration from that tin of Pilsner.
I think you're right.
Right.
It does seem very familiar, especially the extremely Germanic font in Lunn's Millsner along the bottom there.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be pure coincidence. I don't know. However, it does look like they may have drawn inspiration from it. If they haven't, then it's pure coincidence. But what a happy coincidence if it isn't. There's a lovely. Have a look there. There's Jo. I know she's not in a. She's not. Canoeing,
she is definitely not in a two-person canoe. I'll tell you that.
No, she's a kayaker, but that could be her just practicing paddling rather than canoeing, kayaking along. I like the can. It's very, very Canadian, isn't it?
Look, examine the gold of that before you add the dye. That is not a light color.
Waxing poetical about the can itself. I had forgotten I was supposed to open it and try the damn thing. Oh yes, and
the artwork. In fact, for the first time of our beers thus far, we're 3 deep, and there is a description on the website. Are you ready?
Hurrah!
Description for Lunn's Millsner at lunnsmill.beer. Crisp and light-bodied, super crushable.
I like the sound of that.
And this is the 4.5. So the color of it, I think, makes it. That's a pretty impressive color for a 4.5. I don't know what to tell you. How am I looking forward to this? This is so
look
strange.
at them before we taint them with the green. Of course, I'm sure that most brewmasters would be saying, "You're screwing up my beer." Well, that's not Irish, but they would probably be thinking.
All the Scottish brewmasters here in New Scotland.
I know. This is Irish thing.
Ooh, on that note, while we wait for the head to go down and the dye to go in, the New Scotland Brewing Company, rumors of the New Scotland Brewing Company's demise have been greatly exaggerated. They're not demising. They say the follow-up, but there was a bit of a rumor going around saying that they were going to close up shop, but they say nope, we are staying. We are sticking around.
So where did that come out of then?
Honestly, I heard it through my own grapevine, and then I saw it announced on their site that they were gonna that they're still going, or it was shut. No, was that the one that was shutting down a tap room, but they were going to continue on, and then they even backtracked from that, saying no, we're not going anywhere. So I'm not even sure they're shutting down their tap room. I should probably look up a bit of that. New Scotland.
They had a change. The thing is, we've hardly tried any, have we? As it turns out, we've only done one or two New Scotlands, and
Yeah.
they didn't stop off either. Yeah.
Now,
But they're
so
all
yeah.
up there.
But stay in business. Good for you. Well done. Do the thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why is there what? Beer shop our story. Is there like a send me to your Instagram, please? February acoustic jam, Jeff, blah 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 blah. New Scotland taproom hours. Maybe it was on their Facebook page. I'm checking into that. We just want to set out a quick note as there has been some chatter floating around. This is from March 12th. Chatter floating around about her shutting her down, which isn't accurate. We are still rocking and have a new set of partners to help with operations, and for all New Scotland clothing fans, nothing's changing there either. We're rolling out fresh new gear for spring and summer, blah, 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 blah. So, new partners, new owners, changing hands, etc., etc. Similar, I assume, to the Wayfarers becoming Bay of Fundy.
Mm.
So, what was in maybe a tiny bit of trouble and then fixed it with some new investors.
Or maybe, like you said, that someone heard something and then spread it, and it wasn't quite true. They'd heard there were changes, maybe, or that they were going to shut, and then it wasn't entirely true. I've already tried this, Ross. While you were
sorry,
rabbiting away there, try it. You don't need to apologise. Cheers. It's again quite different.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was going to say, when we said like, oh, pills are all a bit meh. I can't imagine they'll be. I thought they'd be quite similar. Well, they are, but they're not.
That's a well-bodied wheat ale.
I thought you might like this one. When I was drinking it while you were chatting away there, I thought, I kind of smiled and I thought, I think Ross might like this.
Smells like a lager. It just gives off lager whiffs, but this smells like it's got the body of a wheat ale that I've been asking for months, if not years.
But you're not really a big fan of wheat ales, though, are you?
No, because they all disappoint me. Because I want something like this, which is giving you the grainy and the malt, and there's like an edge. So where they say old style, this is sticking more to what I'm reading in the description between a German and a Bohemian type,
right?
Than the Italian dry. Because as soon as someone says dry hopped, and can I point out, I now in my twice achieved home brewing process, I dry hopped my current black IPA. So I know that adds that extra hop flavor to it. But now becoming basic IPA fans, I'm like drinking my dry hopped black IPA thinking, this is tasty as all get out. I love this. It's damn good.
Is it really good?
I won't blow too much smoke up my own fuffoon, but I do like it. And I think, I mean, you're your own. I'm not my own worst critic. I'm my own best critic. I think everything I do is amazing. And then when the reviews are in, they do not match my my self edits. So I think it's quite good, but I'm not going to say it's not the best beer I've ever had. It's certainly not even the best black IPA I have yet had, and I've only had a couple of them. But I dig the style. I'm pretty happy with it. I've had 2 bottles of it already. Hoping I'm able to save some for guests.
Yeah. I'd like to try half a glass of that for sure. Yes, for sure.
I like this. This is it. Was this what I was looking for? I was not expecting this in a Pilsner. I was expecting this to be hoppy lager night, and I am pleasantly surprised at the array, I would say, of flavors we're getting. Flavors, styles.
They're quite varied for sure. Isn't it funny how just looking at a drink, it can, just the color of it. I should do this not even looking at it, because it looks like lime cordial, right? It's a lime drink to look at.
It's reminding me of an old lollipop that we used to get at Halloween. They were Hulk brand. And so they were this cloudy, ugly green kind of thing. And I couldn't even tell you what flavor they were. I think they were just sugar flavored.
Yeah, because you see this now. Of course, this could be a sour beer to look at, right? You say, "Oh, it's one of those crazy sour beers that
Oh,
you and I just detest," right? So just looking at it, it can trick you. It can start fooling your mind. I think, "Oh, this is going to be a limey kind of
and when it's
citrusy."
not, are we judging these too easily because we picked this up and we think that this is going to be some grotesque green flavored monstrosity when in fact it's a tasty beer? I like to think that we would taste the same thing and smell the same thing and feel the same way about these were these regularly colored. I will
You'd hope.
naturally tainted
You would hope.
taint.
It- these pilsners are making me feel. I've got to say, I don't feel great right now. I feel a little bit bloaty uh, and they're not gassy. Then this is not
Ah,
a big gassy lager thing going on. So they're not. There's no effervescence really going on in there. Obviously a little bit, and uh, I'm feeling quite full.
the,
Do you,
the,
do you
the
know what I mean?
style of Pilsner is the carbonation is a little bit more than your regular beer. I forgot to
Okay.
mention that ahead of time. But yeah, I am feeling inflated a bit. So
Yeah.
maybe
I did have a big bowl of stew before I started, literally like 5 minutes before we started, which didn't help. But I was so hungry, I needed to put something on my
mm,
stomach. So maybe that's added to
I
it.
did
But I do
not.
feel quite bloated.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did not have a big bowl of stew. So we're
Oh,
just I mean press on, just crack on, stiff upper lip.
it's it's quite different. Can you give me the description again, please? And I'm going to see if I can pick up on what on how on the various ingredients and then the hints and notes that they're talking about
Yeah, here we go.
because
Crisp
I'm struggling.
and light bodied, super
Uh,
crushable.
I, I don't know, but that might be just me right now because I'm feeling a bit bloaty.
It's gassy.
Crushable.
It's full of gas. These pilsners have too much CO2 in them.
If this was my first beer of the night, I might be saying, "Ah, yeah, I'm gonna have 3 or 4 more of these." I'm struggling a little bit to
Mm.
get it down. Um, uh, it's okay. Carry on.
No, that
Is that it?
was that was it.
That's the whole thing.
That is the
Like,
entirety of the description.
okay, crushable. Okay,
Super crushable, crisp and
super
light
crushable.
bodied. I, mm,
I'm struggling with light bodied too. I think this
so
is
am
really
I. They're a bit
it's
heavy. They're
a
not. They're
bit
not messing about. I mean, have we?
no,
Have I just not been
it's a
having too much beer? Have we not? We've been. It's the Miller Genuine Drafts. That's the problem that we've been having. These lightweight
that's
things.
my
We need to
problem.
get back in the saddle here. Get away from these lighter beers. You're gonna have me drinking 0% alcohol ones. We're gonna have to try the supermarket sweep one of these weeks. Give them a go.
You've already pointed out it's 4.5. I
Yeah.
mean, it's supposedly lighter in alcohol content. Well, not supposedly, it is than the other two.
I,
And is that supposed to be making it a lighter brew? It's don't get me wrong. This is me. I think I've done this to myself by throwing a big old bowl of stew in me and now trying to drink 3 or 4 beers afterwards.
I
It's
I had a
to me.
pretty light supper several hours
Yeah,
ago, and I feel like I'm in the exact same boat you are.
it's not light, and it's surprisingly for a 4.5 beer. I'm finding this quite a meal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Phew. Good on
That
you, Lunn's Mill.
I tied for first. I like Hilltop and I like the Lunn's Mill. And the Horton Ridge
Mm,
is not that far behind.
mm.
So the big question is,
The
does Miss
problem, the problem I'm having right now, Ross, before you go into that one, is
Oh, you have a different problem?
I don't, I don't dislike any of them. That's my
No,
problem.
I don't
No,
either.
no, I'm not loving them because I'm not, the Pilsner is not exciting me. I'm not
I,
going, oh my God, the taste sensation is incredible. But I'm not disliking them, and that's a problem
I thought I'd be
for me.
getting the shudders. You know, when you drink something and you have that little kind of that
Nah.
mm, that snap of sour, that extra bitter. That's what I thought was going to be happening, and it's not. And I'm fine with that. Finding some pilsners because I felt like this was the one thing that I wasn't able to um, advise or recommend to people. Where if someone says, I really like reds, I'm like, I know what reds to suggest, or I really like stouts, I really like porters, I really like this, I really like that, I only like lagers and I like nothing else. I'm like, I know exactly what's going on. But if I ever met someone who says, oh, nope, sorry, I don't drink any of your craft beers in Nova Scotia because I only like Pilsners. And now I can say, ha, hang on. Well, first of all, do you like Italian Pilsners, Bohemian Pilsners, Germanic Pilsners? Yeah, I mean, we have to be a bit more. Pardon me
So
whilst I
pretentious.
snap my head pretentiously back and forth, almost knocking off my thematic St. Patrick's Day glasses from my bowler hat. But we now have a bit more to go on. Because everything we had so far, if someone says they like Pilsners, I'm like, yep, I agree. I didn't like the other Pilsners that we've had. And I can't remember them clear as day, but I certainly remember drinking them and thinking, I don't want to drink the rest of this.
Yeah, I'm still not going to, if I'm walking into a pub and they have their own Pilsner and their own red and their own stout, and it may be their double IPA, I'm still not going to head straight for a crisp, crushable Pilsner because it's just not me. But these aren't, no, I'm okay so far. I'm getting through these.
If I can get a flight at your establishment and you only have 4 beers on tap and one of them is a Pilsner, that is pretty much the only reason I would put a Pilsner in my flight of tastings. That's the only reason I can think of.
Yeah. They don't excite me. They're still not exciting me, but I'm okay. And maybe that's the biggest compliment I can pay at the moment, that they're okay.
Yeah. we are definitely at the
without me being very excited.
But what surprises me about that is I didn't think they were going to be, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I thought everything was going to be very underwhelming and almost kind of a, why did they make, I thought it was going to be swamp water night. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm digging this.
Okay.
Hey, here's a good joke for you, and I love this glass that I've got. Are you ready for the 2CR Ows Brewing Co.?
Absolutely, 100%. I'm ready to
Let's
go.
have her. So,
that's an interesting glass.
if you're listening to this podcast and not watching it, tough. You don't get that joke.
Well, I'm going to go with the Salt Box. That's easier to pronounce. King Street Salt Box, which my friend Ross gave to me. Bless him. Sal, Ross, if this doesn't taste like a big bowl of skunk water, then I'll be pleasantly surprised, because, like I said at the top, we've had this this has been in the fridge for years, seemingly. It's because we've been avoiding Pilsners.
I'm a little worried that the Hilltop Hops one has been in there longer than this one.
Oh, really? Gosh.
I mean,
okay.
The Horton Ridge one, it's been scrubbed from the internet. There's nothing anywhere that says that the Tastes from Home Pilsner has ever existed. There's no mention of it, not even on Untapped. So I feel like that's the one that I need to go in and on Untapped and said, I'm the one guy that drank this beer.
Oh. Well, they obviously had it in an old can, the lager can. They went, we're not going to do too much of this. We'll throw it in the old lager can. because we've got some left over, and they never made a batch again.
Written in Sharpie. Nah, it's actually the Pilsner.
Absolutely, on the back of it, even on the back of it, there's a big line through the
there
yellow
you
to
go,
say,
yeah.
"Oh, that's
Cancel that.
number
JK.
one."
JK, it's a Pilsner.
Right. Have you already poured your Sal?
I have not. I have opened it. I'm trying to get a bit of a whiff.
Mate, have you done some kind of research as to why they call it Sal?
I want to say that I tried, but I certainly did not go far. So
Okey-dokey.
here we go. Usually, Two Crows are famous for on their cans just saying like the famous 3 words, but there's a lot more on this one than any of their other beer cans that I can remember. A crispy, crunchy, and slightly herbal Italian Pilsner, brewed as a collaboration between Two Crows Brewing Company and Yaya's Pizza, made with locally grown and malted barley, local Tettnanger and Styrian Golding hops, and lagered forever. We love this beer, and we think you will too. So this is, oh yeah, that's look at the cooler of that one. This is a collaboration with a local pizza place. Sadly, I've never heard of Yaya's Pizza. And then on the website, it gives you a different, slightly different version of the exact same story. It says a collaboration with our great pals Yaya's Pizza, who we share our Oxford Street location with, designed for drinking with the best pizza in town, super fresh, super clean, produced using the finest ingredients, naturally carbonated and lagered forever, crisp, crunchy, and slightly herbal.
Crunchy.
I thought they were on Brunswick Street.
I'm interested in that one. I'm interested in that description. Crunchy. When we did that, beer tasting thing up at, I'm really good this evening. I'm all over this English language.
with Lucas and Kuva Labs, where you got to kind of join your thing. But we did that at Tapestry Beer Bar, 833 Sackville Drive.
Oh, thank you. There was 150,000 descriptions that you could kind of choose from. Crunchy. I don't recall that one. So how would this be crunchy? I wonder. What does that mean? Crisp. I'm on board with crisp. I can get hold of crisp, but crunchy with a beer. I don't know how I'm supposed to find crunchy. Do you know what I mean? If I'm tasting a beer.
Yep. I cannot think of that either. I don't see anything obvious floating within it, like, sort of Lucky Charms, marshmallows or whatnot.
None of those things. I hope I don't crunch on it. That means there's some solid stuff in there that I don't particularly want. We both like our sea monkeys, but those aren't really crunchy.
No,
they're just kind of bitty. Yeah,
slight.
Interesting. That's it. Crisp. That is, if I get crispness from a brew, I can get that. If I get crispness from this, I'm glad, because the slightly heavier version that I've just had, which has had me thinking, oh, I'm getting quite full up here. I'm ready for a crisper version. Are you?
So am I. The one thing I should probably mention, this one is a 5.1%. So this is the strongest Pilsner we've had so far.
That's fine. 5.1 is fine by me, and this is the last one. So that's
good. Did you get the whole can in the glass? Because it got hazy at the end there.
Oh, well, because of course I put my green. No, it is. It's hazier at the top than it is at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I. Ross, can we just clink here? I'm right at the camera.
Clonk.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. Good to see you.
Ting.
This is the one I'm most excited about this evening of the 4.
All right.
Just because Two Crows, they're winning me. They've won me over.
It looks like some sort of root beer float. Look at that. It's quite the.
Yeah. I know.
Very, very delectable.
Right.
Very sweetened. So very, very Irish. If I don't say.
Oh, isn't that crunchy? That's the crunchy bit.
Oh my
I
goodness.
love the way it's stuck to your. Yeah, no, great.
All
That's
over the
keep
bristle.
it going. I can see it's all over your.
Yep.
Yeah, it's coming along very well. You look very Irish.
That I don't want to say I don't like it, but that tastes more like what I was expecting from a bunch of Pilsners tonight. That it's more like it tastes more like the Horton Ridge, but they did say, didn't they say Italian style? This one's Italian style. And we learned that Italian style, malty sweet aroma, light biscuity attributes may be present, but it's the hop is pronounced and aromatic derived from late hopping and dry hopping. Floral, herbal, peppery, and other attributes. This one is the hoppy lager because it's Italian style. Lunn's Mill is old school, so they went back to the Bohemian one where it's all more malt forward than anything else. So there is much like a pale ale, I feel, or I can't really think of another example. But there is a scale of, do you go towards the hoppier side of things? You know, do you dry hop it at the end, or do you move towards sort of the maltier side of things? Curious part to me is that the Malt House one isn't the maltiest one we've had. I feel like I'm getting tuberculosis as we're doing this tonight. I'm getting sicker as we go.
The Malt House one, as you pointed out to me, should be maltier, and I found it maltier, and I found it sweeter. This one is. Oh my God, I'm struggling so hard with this.
This is a Pilsner. This is what I think a Pilsner should be. This is what I'm expecting. So apparently I'm expecting an Italian Pilsner. I thought we were going to drink 4 of these. and worse. I thought we were going to drink 4 of these that didn't. This is smooth. This is well balanced. This is well put together. I thought we were going to taste this and 3 slightly worse versions of they say their beer is crunchy. I'm going to say clunky. A clunky flavor profile where you're just, I don't know, here's some hops. I don't know, here's some more hops, and they're over here. I don't know, and it's kind of bitter on the back end. And you're like, oh my God, I'm dying. Because this is just nothing but bitter and hops. And I could have just literally had a kale salad and called it a night.
It'd be the same color. I don't know what to make of this. I think I like it, but I'm not sure.
This would have been the best of what I was expecting. But I didn't think anything was even going to be this good.
I tell you what.
That's the best way I can put it.
One thing it has confirmed for me, even though I'm saying right now, I think I like this, but I'm not sure, is I'm not really a Pilsner guy.
No, and we have to accept that we are not Pilsner fans. So what's going on here is acceptable with varying degrees of difference.
Yeah. That's probably it. I am indifferent to Pilsners. They're just right at the top. They're just a bit meh. And I feel the same way about lagers, with the exception of 1 or 2 really, really great ones when they bowl me over and I say, oh my God, that's so, probably because it's got a slightly more maltier backbone to it. And in which case I can say, I'm hanging my coat on that hook. But I just find these still, even though there are subtle differences between them all. My goodness, you look great. I'm still a bit unexcited by the whole Pilsner game, unfortunately.
The best compliment that we can throw at them: stouts and porters and black IPAs wouldn't look nearly this cool with a bit of green dye in them.
That is true.
Because even a pale ale or several IPAs where they get a little hazy, they're not gonna. And honestly, not all of these were crystal clear.
No,
they got a little
pale
hazy.
ales, which I find also the pale ales a bit like this, that I'm like, they're not exciting me either. But there is a place for them. I know that there are people that lap these things up. Pale ale can be a hoppier thing, so each to their own. I'm just a little. I don't know how to. I don't know how to describe these at all. That there is some. It needs someone with a far more qualified palate to really talk about these pilsners, because I don't know how to describe them.
That's why I looked up the judging notes for the Canadian Brewing Awards. Shall I go through the Italian-style Pilsner for you? You ready?
Oh, absolutely.
Color. Straw to gold. 10 out of 10. For it's a little green right now, but we did that ourselves. Clarity.
We did that.
Appearance should be clear. Chill haze should not be present.
And it was. Yeah, and it is.
Perceived malt aroma and flavor. A malty, sweet aroma and flavor should be present at low levels. Light, biscuity attributes may be present.
Yeah, the biscuity. I was going to say, there is a slight more biscuity to this than the others. So that's fine. Okay,
perceived hop aroma and flavor. Hop aroma and flavor is pronounced and aromatic.
Is it? Is it? Okay.
Derived from late hopping and dry hopping with noble type hops. Floral, herbal, peppery, or other attributes may be present.
No pepperiness. I don't know.
Perceived floral. Bitterness. Medium to high.
Nope.
You're not getting a medium?
No. I would say medium to low medium.
Okay.
Personally. Okay.
Fermentation characteristics. This isn't the science now. Fruity.
Is this still the Italian?
This is the Italian, yeah. Fruity ester and DMS should not be present.
Oh, it's full of DMS, Ross. I've got no idea what that is. Yeah, I clearly, if you read out the German and the Bohemian styles, there would be subtle differences.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I feel like the main differences that I could find is that the German one was the exact same everything, except it said, instead of hop aroma is pronounced, it said hop aroma is medium and could be there. And then all the way to the Bohemian style Pilsner, the malt aroma and flavor, a sweet, toasted, biscuity, bready malt aroma is present. So we were getting those in the other two. The old style, which we have decided, well, I decided, sorry, for us, Bohemia is older than Germany and Italy. Because Italy used to be Rome back when Bohemia was Bohemia, right? That was the Roman Empire. Or the Byzantines.
Wow, you're taking this very literally into ages of history.
Right? Well,
is that what you're doing?
How else do you do it?
Rather than the beer making itself, you're going back through the. Yes. I've no idea when the Bohemians in I was going to say Czechoslovakia.
Is it
in Czechia were roaming the planet?
Were they roaming the planet? Bohemia. Bohemia is a region in the Czech Republic. You're quite right. Later became associated with the Roma due to a misconception about their origins, and now commonly describes individuals with 19th wait, bohemianism. What? Is
Well,
used
we
to
know what
describe a social and cultural movement. But what nationality is the
yeah.
Bohemian people? Maybe
Well, they're
it
from
isn't
Czech.
older than Italy. It's the Czech. But the thing is, Pilsner that's where Pilsners come from. There's like a location, and it's just as bad as saying originating from the city of Pilsen in the Czech
Pilsen in
Republic.
Germany. Oh, the
No,
Czech Republic.
Czech.
Okay.
Is
Wow,
there
there
a
we go.
Pilsen in
Okay.
Germany? I mean, I know there's like 6 Lawrence towns in Nova Scotia, so you can have as many Pilsens as you want in Europe.
Victoria Pilsen is as if you look that up, Victoria Pilsen,
I
I believe, is a Czech soccer team. So I've just found out then um from your let's go
rudimentary
to the yeah
research.
that's where the beer Pilsner comes from. That's incredible. I was, when people say I was today years old, I hate that term, but I'm
Yeah,
going to say it right. I was today years old when I learned that Pilsen is the spiritual birthplace of Pilsner. Is it not?
I
Is that what you told me?
that's what I'm
No?
getting, and I learned that
Oh,
approximately 6 hours earlier than you did when I looked this up today.
right. Also, what I've learned is I've had confirmation, in fact, Ross, that I'm not excited by Pilsners.
Neither am I.
I can drink. No, I'm still going to drink something else if it's on offer.
Mm.
But I'm not going to say, get that out of my face, that disgusting sour that you've just brought me. So I can still drink a couple of these, but not too many more. And that goes for all of them. They're all okay.
Mhm.
They differ slightly in their flavor profile. There's some more maltiness to one or two of them than the others. Some are more crisp than others, but they're still not doing much for my flavor palette. That's all I'll say.
The fact that there's a difference that excites me because I kind of thought it would be a very boring how do we even tell these apart drinks.
Yeah, I
But
get that.
that there was some maltier side of things, and that even just in the Canadian Brewing Award sides of things, there were 3. I don't want to say distinctly different because they were not that very different. But this is why I'm glad when someone said, "How come you don't drink ciders?" I'm like, "Cause ciders are boring." I feel like if this were a cider show, it would be the same as this were being a Pilsner show.
That's a really good way to put it. That's right. It's very appley. This one's sweeter. This one's drier. How the hell are you supposed to differentiate between them all? Yeah, I get that.
Mm. And
Yeah, yeah.
luckily, we get to say, all right, we're sick of Pilsners. Time for stouts. Time for black IPAs. We're going to try this white stout. We're going to try this champagne IPA. We're going to try this rye
Yeah.
ale, maybe with a completely different grain. Let's have some fun. Let's go out there. And every now and then we're going to say, all right, some crazy person has made a sour. We gotta try to drink it, I suppose. We gotta.
Now, coming back to what we had, Ross, if you go now to the malt house,
Okay.
then after you've just drunk with the Italian style,
Yeah.
it is very much maltier. It really does smack you of it's much sweeter. It really is kind of chalk and cheese. To me, you're not sure. You're not sure.
I think the Horton Ridge is the closest to the Two Crows actual, tasting like a Pilsner, the Germanic or the Italian, the newer, hoppier version. I can't wait to try my ancient old, recipe from West Bohemia in the Czech Republic. Because
Okay.
these are the ones that, oh, yes, I like Bohemian Pilsners. Damn it.
Okay, I'm going with the Horton Ridge after that one because it's got a maltier taste to me. Hang on. Mm.
Oh, mm,
Maltier backbone, I mean.
mm.
And then the Lunn's Mill comes. Actually, I don't mind that either.
No,
I've just had the Lunn's Mill, and that's much crisper. Oh God! Actually, I like that one. It's easier to drink. It's more crushable than the Malt House, even though the Malt House has more. I've lost the Hilltops one because I kind of finished it early
you
on,
did finish
so I
it,
can't even.
and I wish you still had some because honestly,
Yeah,
going
too.
back, it was the fourth one in reverse that I tried. So I went two Crows and I wandered back, and I had that fourth.
Mm.
Hilltop is still my favorite.
Okay, I did away with it, and now I'm
Still
going
my
to the
favorite.
sour, and it's different. Oh goodness sake!
And now everything's all this hoppy, this dry hop thing. So I like Bohemian Pilsners, and I cannot lie, you other brothers can't deny that when a malt forward dry hop lager gets in your face, you get sprung. Wait, how does that go? Yeah.
Are you doing Butts guy? What's his name?
What?
No, I like big butts and I cannot lie. Are you? What's his name? Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, Sir
Is that
Mix-a-Lot.
what you would do?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're
I was today
you're
years
doing.
old when I heard Sir Mix-a-Lot's "I Like Big Butts" song for the first time.
You're mixing your beers, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Um, when I went through those three, just again,
Mm.
I, I I got to admit I quite liked them, and yet I'm still not excited by them.
No.
So no,
But I've
no,
learned that there is a malty version of Pilsners that does get judged,
yeah,
and honestly, I hope a couple of these Nova Scotian ones should get in there. I feel like they might not win in the Italian category because, like you said, you should be getting some floral or peppery things, and I would love that. A little personality, a little zip, a little zang, and it would come through like an elderflowers and pepper, like booyah! That would be so tasty. Can you imagine the Two Crows one with just a little bit of a some zhuzh, as it were?
some jizz.
No,
The thing is,
zhuzh. Z
is
Z H E U Z H. Zhuzh.
the thing is, um, this was a Paddy's Day. This
Oh
is
right.
the least Irish thing. There's some Italian and German and Czech Pilsners. I love that. In fact, we top this with we throw some green in it, and everything becomes Irish. I,
I do
this
have
is the
something to
least
save
Irish
this.
beer, the
And
least Irish beer you could possibly imagine.
well,
But there we go.
they dye the lager though. Well, they dye the Alexander Keith's IPA. That's not any more Irish than any of these. But I'll tell you my
Yeah.
connection. I was into Paddy's pub a few weeks ago with
Oh yeah.
Ian Smith of Tapestry Beer Bar, 833 Sackville Drive, and we happened to talk to. Well, he came up. We had lunch, and I said, "Hey, do you want to come and talk?" And you just kind of own the place when you're in Paddy's. He says, "Hey, is the brewmaster in?" I said, "Yeah, he'll be right around." And we met the new brewmaster. Remember, we met Chris, young guy from out west, and he said, "I'm not going to
Yeah.
be here long. I'm moving back out west."
Okay.
He did that. So Paddy's has a new brewer. I want to say young Rob, but he's like a half hour younger than me probably. So young Rob is up there, and he was telling us a bit about what he's doing, and he's mostly taken over from all the recipes. Everything's all up there. You don't really get all that much carte blanche for making new recipes. It's all very established. But they did say, hey, it's our one, two, three, four, 30th anniversary coming up.
What? What?
Because Paddy's,
Yes.
arguably the
Absolutely.
oldest brewery in,
Yep.
or oldest still functioning brewery, in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, and we're hoping to, in the month of March, Craft Beer Month. Sorry. So happy Craft Beer Month, everybody. 2, St. Paddy's Day month. And 3, he said, so we're going to put out, and his first recipe was going to be an Irish Red. He thought that would be nice for the Paddy's 30th anniversary, Craft Beer Month, St. Patrick's Day. Although I'm not sure if it was ready for last Monday. But I got to get in there and see if he's made his Irish Red yet. So that is, if we don't have a bunch of Irish beers, at least I've got an Irish story. That's all I got.
I've got four scores. 4 score. That's 20. That's 80.
I'm like,
I've got 4 scores, and they're all 6.5.
What?
Out of 10.
But okay, I will judge them as Pilsners.
Okay.
And
I don't even know. See, that's my problem. Before you go into yours individually,
I don't think.
I just don't know how to. I just don't know how to do this because
they seem to be doing what it's telling me they should be doing.
Yeah, you're going to do it slightly differently from me. Of course, I'm going to do it on whether or not I'm happy with them, and you're going to do how individually a Pilsner should be, if it's an Italian, a Bohemian, or a German Pilsner. Have at it, Ross, because they're so subtle. Fill your boots.
Well, that's why I'm kind of vague with. I think they're all high 8s to low 9s.
Good grief, really?
Yeah, I do. For Pilsners. And honestly, the Hilltops one, if I was choosing my favorite beers I've ever had, Hilltops would, that Pilsner could sneak into the top 10.
Are you kidding me?
I really, maybe I was just so surprised by it, but I really, really liked it. Maybe 12th, 13th, but definitely top 20. Could make an argument for top 10.
Of the 350 odd beers you've tried over the last 4 years, you would say that's right up there with the. Wow, that's incredible.
Well, think of your 10 favorite beers. Think of your 10 favorite beers that we've had in 3 years, 5 years, 4 years.
We would need to look at that on another night. I'd need to do some research, and I can't do that right now. I'm all headed out with Pilsners and peanuts, so I don't think I can do that. But I would look at that. I think, what is some of my favorite beers that I've tasted with you over the last 4 years, and maybe might try and revisit them again for a future episode.
Well, the problem is that everything runs their course and then they're no longer available, and I do appreciate that and I like that, but
What do I? Yeah. Okay, I'm not a Pilsner man, but I got through this and they were okay. I'm not going to go and have any more in future. So thank you, Horton Ridge, Lunn's Mill, Two Crows and Hilltops.
Would you recommend one of these to someone who says, I love Pilsners? Would you say, well, have you tried?
They were subtly different, Ross. I guess I would have to ask him, what profile of Pilsners do you like? Because I guess that's too subtle for me. My personal favorite was probably the Horton Ridge Malt House, because it was the most distinguishable. Okay. But I gave a little tip and a wink there also to Two Crows' Sal, because it was quite crisp as well. In fact, so was Hilltops quite crisp. And that's not to say it's almost like I'm passing by a mill.
You could just say you'd recommend all of them. You could say, hey, have I got 4 Pilsners for you? If you're a Pilsner fan and you happen to be just visiting Nova Scotia, P.S., 2 of them you can't get anymore, but the other 2 you should definitely check out.
That might be it. I might say, if you're a Pilsner fan, you really should try all of them all, because then you can make your own decision up.
And the best part,
but they're okay.
Despite the fact that the Horton Ridge and the Hilltops is, hopefully, go in and check out the new Hilltops one, because they've got one on tap. But just say, hey, by the way, Lunn's Mill and the Sal at Two Crows, try both of those, because The Lunn's Mill is more of an older style Pilsner, a bit more maltier, but the Two Crows one is a bit more modern, with a lot of hopping in it, and both of them quite tasty for what they offer.
Cool. Go with that.
Easy.
And on that note, I'm out of here.
Easy
Cheers.
peasy. It's so easy to recommend beers to people, except for how difficult it is. Thank you again very much, Hilltop Hops and Horton Ridge, Lunn's Mill, and Two Crows for the beers that we had tonight. Thank you for Ian for joining me tonight again. Hoping that the sound went a little bit better tonight. We're here every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. at youtube.com/@drinknsdry. You can find our podcast at all the podcasty places. You can follow us on the the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the TikToks, the YouTubes, which I just said. But if you want to go straight to the source for the RSS feed and the podcast, it is drinkns.unsupervised.beer. And like I said, we're back here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So thank you for tuning in, joining us, and we'll see you next week. Good.